Emmanuel's encounter with Nneoma had been a turning point in his struggles at boarding school. For the first time since arriving, he felt like he had found a true friend. Nneoma was a year older than Emmanuel, but she took him under her wing, showing him the ropes and introducing him to her friends. She was kind, compassionate, and had a wicked sense of humor that made Emmanuel laugh. As they spent more time together, Emmanuel found himself opening up to Nneoma about his struggles. He told her about the bullies, the strict teachers, and the overwhelming workload. Nneoma listened attentively, offering words of encouragement and advice. One day, while they were studying together in the library, Nneoma asked Emmanuel about his family. Emmanuel hesitated, unsure of how to share his story. But Nneoma's kind eyes and gentle smile put him at ease. "I come from a small village," Emmanuel began. "My parents are farmers, and they work hard to provide for our family. I'm the youngest of 5 siblings, and we all share a small room in our village home." Nneoma listened intently, her eyes sparkling with interest. "That sounds like a beautiful childhood," she said. "But it must have been hard to leave your family behind." Emmanuel nodded, feeling a lump form in his throat. "It was," he said. "But I knew I had to come to boarding school to get a good education. My parents sacrificed so much for me to be here." Nneoma reached out and put a hand on Emmanuel's arm. "You're not alone, Emmanuel," she said. "We're all in this together. And I'm here for you, no matter what." Emmanuel felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. He knew that he had found a true friend in Nneoma, someone who understood him and cared about his well-being. As they continued to study together, Emmanuel realized that Nneoma was not only a friend but also a source of inspiration. She was a high achiever, always pushing herself to excel in her studies. And she encouraged Emmanuel to do the same. With Nneoma's help, Emmanuel began to find his footing at boarding school. He started to enjoy his classes, making new friends and connections along the way. And he began to see that he was capable of more than he ever thought possible. But just as things were starting to look up, Emmanuel faced a new challenge. Mr. Coffee, the principal, announced that the school would be having a midterm exam, and anyone who failed would be expelled. Emmanuel felt his heart sink. He knew that he wasn't prepared for the exam, and the thought of failing was terrifying. What would he do? Would he be able to pass the exam and stay in school? Or would he fail and be sent back to his village in shame? Emmanuel was worried about the upcoming midterm exam. He had been studying hard, but he wasn't sure if he was ready. He decided to seek out Mr. Coffee, the principal, to ask for his advice. As he walked into Mr. Coffee's office, Emmanuel noticed that the principal seemed distracted. He was staring at the old photograph, and his eyes looked sad. "Oh, Emmanuel," Mr. Coffee said, looking up. "What can I do for you?" Emmanuel explained his concerns about the exam, and Mr. Coffee listened attentively. But as they talked, Emmanuel couldn't shake off the feeling that something was bothering the principal. Just as he was about to leave, Emmanuel accidentally knocked over a stack of papers on Mr. Coffee's desk. As he bent down to pick them up, he saw a newspaper clipping that caught his eye. The headline read, "Tragedy Strikes, Principal's Son Dies in School Fire." Emmanuel's eyes widened as he read the article. He had never heard about this before. Why had Mr. Coffee kept it a secret? As he looked up, Emmanuel saw that Mr. Coffee's eyes had filled with tears. "I'm sorry, Emmanuel," he said, his voice shaking. "I didn't mean for you to see that." Emmanuel felt a pang of sympathy for the principal. He had always thought of Mr. Coffee as a strict and intimidating figure, but now he saw him in a different light. "Why did you keep it a secret, sir?" Emmanuel asked gently. Mr. Coffee sighed, wiping away his tears. "I didn't want the students to know," he said. I didn't want them to think that I was weak. But it's been hard, Emmanuel. Losing my son was the hardest thing I've ever had to face. Emmanuel nodded, feeling a sense of understanding. I'm sorry, sir, he said. I won't tell anyone. Mr. Coffee smiled, his eyes still sad. Thank you, Emmanuel, he said. That means a lot to me. As Emmanuel left the principal's office, he felt like he had seen a different side of Mr. Coffee. He realized that even the strictest and most intimidating people can have secrets and vulnerabilities. But Emmanuel's newfound understanding of the principal didn't change the fact that he still had to face the midterm exam. And he was more nervous than ever. To be continued.